be captured by people more often than usual. Now we get into everything that has been solved recently.
Okay, check this out. Do you guys know what that is?
I live in the city next to Minneapolis, and last night around 3 a.m. I didn't hear, I felt like an oscillating vibration, and it was going through my brain, and I couldn't sleep, and it felt like it was coming from the ground.
What's being seen across US is starting to raise questions. But in another location, things take a different turn.
Yeah, what is that? That's like far out in the ocean, and it's going fast as fuck.
To investigate this further, we need to look deeper into these events. There are more reports starting to come in, and this seems to be starting to show up more often without a clear explanation.
What in the kind of clouds are these? What in the is happening? And I'm telling you, some is just flying. It looks hella weird.
Across the United States, people are beginning to notice more unusual things showing up in cities, in homes, and even in the water.
Okay, check this out. Do you guys know what that is?
In this clip, a man named Cruz discovers an unidentified object in the creek. On his profile, he regularly documents nature, but this left him unsure of what he was seeing. Let's look at this real close. An unidentified object appears to be emerging from what looks like a shell-like structure, but the material looks soft. If you look closely, there's a shape almost that resembles a head and an arm-like extensions, although it is not clear what this is. In a separate clip, another object was captured under fog-like conditions, and it appeared like this.
Mystery fog. We now see a lot of these structures. That thing is moving. Well, look at this giant thing. What is this? Like, clearly that's not just liquid, it's rotating.
As more of these sightings are recorded, it's raising questions about what's being observed and why in similar conditions such as fog and water seem to appear more often in these reports. While this is being captured in some places, something else is being noticed inside homes. A man says he's heard something late at night, so he picked up his camera, but what he saw next was not what he expected. According to the eyewitness, he said, "What was in my house? I'm calling the cops. Why can't I get a clear video of it?" Okay, at this moment right here, he slows down and he zooms in. Is there something in the background that you see there? It doesn't just stop there. In another location, an eyewitness reported heard a weird, loud noise in the sky. And then at first, this could be seen as normal migration, but similar sounds have been reported just before moments like this. A woman in Minnesota described something much more unsettling inside her home.
And last night around 3 a.m., I heard, well, I didn't hear, I felt like an oscillating vibration, and it was going through my brain, and I couldn't sleep, and it felt like it was coming from the ground or below the house. It was so weird. So my question for you is, have you ever experienced this in the middle of the night?
That sounds more strange than usual. So the question is, were similar sounds reported during this time period? Just a few days earlier, another recording surfaced, and this is what was captured. Not that it's connected, but observe what I just put on screen. But it's not just what's being heard. Similar things are being noticed in completely different environments, from creeks to fog-covered areas, and now along a coastline.
What is that? I can't discern it anymore. What the hell? It's not a jet ski.
Look here. At first, it looks like a shadow. But if we look closer, there appears to be something small just above the surface. In a separate report, a man described something that he believed was off the East Coast, even though unverified. He said this.
So, I heard something crazy, but supposedly off the coast, the East Coast, I heard there's an airport underwater at the bottom of the ocean. And I said to myself, this doesn't make any sense.
While there's no confirmed evidence of that, I found that something else was captured off the East Coast. Take a close observation. This is off of the coastlines of Massachusetts. And when you go closer, you can see that there are multiple dark holes appearing right next to each other underneath the water off the East Coast. But what are these circular objects that are all sitting close next to each other? And if we do recall, observe this on screen, what was said was that off of coastlines, may be something underneath those areas. But let's go down a little bit from Massachusetts to Florida's coastline at nighttime. People are capturing Okay, this next part is for public awareness, and this one takes a turn that not even I was expecting. They state mysterious blob found in lake near me. This is what the eyewitness observed. Check the screen.
No, Sid.
It's like driving around, it's an alien. What the Christ? That is the strangest thing I've ever seen.
This is some really weird motions we're watching. What is this is the bigger question. I like to see what the interpretations of this is, because right now we have no clue at all. And I'm going to address something that is just for public awareness. Once again, I'm looking at the comments here and I'm seeing people say, anyone notice that deer are disappearing in Ozark, Arkansas? This is what they're claiming. Interesting you say that. People are noticing some unusual activity. Here's another report 4 hours ago about in the city, a beaver was walking down the street, not anywhere near water. Same day, another beaver walking through the street a little closer to water. They've observed turkey on a highway in densely urban area with no forest around. Less unusual, but perhaps still unusual when stacked together with the other sightings, and you can read more of what's happening there on screen. So some people are noticing that they see a little bit different movements with animals, and a lot of people are starting to feel that these sounds as well. I'm looking in the chat section here, and people are noticing other things we're experiencing in Tennessee, mine and daughter. Okay, so again, I see what's going on in the chat section here. And if you look through that, and we need all of you to start giving us more information, because the sounds, as the vibrations that's being observed, that's coming through, and people are feeling that. Is anybody else feeling that within themselves? Because this is what eyewitnesses are stating. And that seems to be a little bit different than the usual what we're hearing here. And the only reason we knew this because you in the comment section gave us all your replies in the last video that was highly important for the next observations we made. That's why I'm looking for all the new people to come in, leave their comments down there below. You have a voice here. We want to hear more from you. This is an active community full of people, the people that's been here. We need to hear from you right now, because as this starts to happen, we're all feeling this sense that time is very much in this state that we have not experienced before. And we're continuing to notice things here actively. So this is ongoing right now. We're not going to be seeing the end of this pretty soon, because this has been going on for weeks and weeks. So just to be together in this and able to understand a little bit of what we're observing is what we're trying to do. But if you missed the other clips, I put a lot more of the information within those videos that tied into this. If you don't get what I'm saying, there was some other things showing up that may play into the observations. If you want to see that, you have to look on the left-hand side, because if you don't see it, you won't understand what